Hello,
Hello.
hello, and welcome to the Lost Chill podcast. I'm Katie.
And I'm Kimmy.
Kimmy, let's talk about something. I got to get it off my chest.
What could it be?
What? Yeah, it has taken every single bookstagram, book talk, everything by storm. Let's talk about it.
I am floored. Okay, let me just tell you, I love fantasy. I love dragons. I love all those kind of books.
Yeah,
This book is up my alley regardless. I legit was reading it and I wasn't on Bookstagram at the time. I had no one to talk to. And I would tell a few people. I didn't even tell you. Like I thought I would lose you the second I said, "Go read this Dragon School book." Because I would say that to people. I'd be like, "You should read this book." And they'd be like, "What's it about?" I'm like, "Well, this girl goes to Dragon School." I'm really good at selling it. But like
maybe, I
he's
mean,
not
maybe don't start with
wrong.
that.
But I would just tell people, like dragons. I swear it's so good. And then they'd be like, oh, that's just one of those silly fantasy things that Kimmy likes. And so I was not selling it great. But then other people did. And it did indeed take the world by storm. So it was actually at my 1989 Taylor's version
I was
release
there.
party
I was there.
that I overheard you talking about Fourth Wing to Paul. And I was like, what? You're reading this book that has had me in such a chokehold all year?
I'm pretty sure your neck actually snapped
Oh, it
when
for
you heard.
sure did.
You were like,
I was
what?
so excited, so excited. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it because I haven't met anyone who doesn't like it. And
You out there.
now everyone I know has like read it, and either people who were like, I don't think so. But them seeing how many other people are like, yes, read this. Now they are, and now I can talk to people. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
And now we can talk to the world about it because this book is absolutely phenomenal. And it's if you've been living under a rock, Fourth Wing is the first book in the Empyrean I almost said Empyrean Eclipse, which is also
Oh,
a good band that you should check out. Free
definitely.
plug,
If
free
you
plug.
love romance and like folksy, adorable screaming, you know?
Very similar to Taylor Swift. No, it's by Rebecca Yarros, who is actually a local writer, author to us in Colorado. And hey, Rebecca, if you are by chance coming across this, holla at your girls.
Yeah, we would have a book club meeting just to talk about you and your book. Please do it.
I would just go hang out with her, honestly. Like it.
I mean, that's what book club is,
Oh,
Caitlin. Have you ever been to a book club?
no. Well, I mean, I have, but we like went to Olive Garden.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
That was amazing. Fourth Wing encompasses this world building, and it starts at the very beginning of basically, like you said, a dragon school. It's a college. It's a war college.
Yeah,
How do
what
you
made
say
you
it?
pick it up?
What made me pick it up was I was looking for books to read. I had recently just started getting back into all of the reading and all of the things, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to read. And so I was building my list on Goodreads, and I was like, what should I be reading? Like, I don't even know anymore. I was so far withdrawn from the book world because life just got in the way. And all that kept popping up was this Fourth Wing. So I was like, all right, I got on Libby. I put in the request for the book, and it was like 452 years from now, you can get Fourth Wing. And I was like, that's not going to work for me. So I went to Barnes and Noble. I picked it up. Instantly, I was hooked. I was like, well, I got to get this on my Kindle because I got to be able to read this anywhere. And I'm just a weird person that I have my thing. But anyway, so I immediately was just like, this is amazing. It reminded me of Harry Potter. And funny enough, this book, well, actually not this book, but Iron Flame was the first book since the Harry Potter series to have a midnight release at Barnes and Noble. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
I had no idea. Really?
yeah.
They haven't done that for any other books?
No, not anything since Harry Potter's books came out. That's a pretty big deal for her, and they don't do that for just
I could
anybody.
cry. That's so precious.
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away. And so I started reading. She is tearing up, guys. She's tearing up right now.
Cute.
I started reading this book like right as Iron Flame was coming out. So it was like a couple weeks. And at your party, I didn't even know that a second book was coming out. Paul was the one that actually told me, and I was like, what? There's a second
Wow.
book? I had no idea. No idea.
Oh man, that's so wild. Ugh. I just love it. I was instantly hooked. Not at all surprising.
No.
Yeah, so the world building is phenomenal in this book. So we meet Violet Sorrengail. She like grows up training and thinking she's going to be a scribe, which is what her dad is, because of she has some physical limitations and can't do everything. Her dad is a scribe, but her mom is like top tier, high ranking military official in the writers
Badass bitch.
quadrant. Yeah. Does it? I can't even remember. It's been so long since I've read this.
When did you read it?
Probably like June or July of last year.
Oh, okay. Okay. So just like a few months before
Not
I
too crazy.
when
Yeah.
you okay. Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly if it was in the beginning or what, if they how they explained all the quadrants very well. I know eventually they do when we meet them, but it's scribes, which write history, take notes for all the battles. There's the riders, which ride dragons and are awesome. Then there's the healers, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then there's the infantry. The infantry, we don't know too much about in this book.
Right.
It touches on barely, I think, in Iron Flame, but it's basically like military trained, but you don't get dragons and you don't get magical superpowers.
Kind of lame.
You're also, it's a little less dangerous.
Yeah.
So.
What would you be? What would you want to go for?
Oh, I would
I
go
think
for a writer, of
I knew
course.
I don't even know why I asked you that because like as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, I already know the answer to this one. I think I'd probably want to be a healer because I'm
Yeah?
a wuss. Yeah, I'm a wuss.
Not a scribe?
No, because they don't talk and I like to talk. Too
What?
quiet. Too quiet. I can't be alone with my thoughts like that.
Oh,
Nobody needs
I
that.
don't like to be alone with my thoughts either.
So nobody needs that. We don't need that in our lives. So healer, I think, would be my hopeful route.
Do you ever want to go in the crazy one? Like so you're Ravenclaw, not the crazy Griff or Slytherin.
Right.
And then did you read Divergent?
Yeah, I didn't like it though.
Did you want to be in Dauntless or did you want to
No.
be I of course wanted to be in Dauntless too.
Right. Like you're the one who's adrenaline seeking and balls to the walls, and I'm like, "Hey, I'll just sit here and
Which
watch."
is funny because like I'm like I want to do that in these fantasy fiction sci-fi books. I have every opportunity to do that in real life. I don't.
You have every opportunity to ride a dragon?
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't?
no, I'm living
Well,
life
I just
wrong.
mean like do the training and the hand-to-hand combat, which Violet does a lot of, and
I was not on the same page. Whatever, it's fine.
what position would you play in Quidditch? I would kind of want to be a beater. I almost said a bludger, but beaters use bludgers, you know.
I would want to be a seeker, honestly. It's the hide and seek.
Really?
It's the hide and seek.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know that's surprising. But Quidditch is a little bit different though. I mean, like obviously like everybody was out for Harry though. I mean, like I'm not Harry freaking Potter. So
In
speaking of Harry
sports?
Potter, huh?
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say in sports I always like to be defensive anyways and not.
Oh, everybody needs a good defense. Yeah. You can't win games without defense. I was defense actually when I played lacrosse, if I remember correctly. So it was fine. I don't remember liking it one way or the other. Anyway, I digress. Harry Potter. This book gave me such Harry Potter vibes, except like fan fiction Harry Potter, like
Okay.
after dark Harry Potter, if you get what I mean.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Holy guacamole. So I gotta tell you a funny story. I've been saving this story since we decided that we were going to do an episode on this. So you haven't even heard
Okay.
this story yet.
Oh, I'm so
I,
excited.
I wanted to share this with you. So in November, my family and I went to Disneyland. You knew about that part. And uh, I know, right? And so we were on the way back and I was reading Fourth Wing and I had the physical copy in my hand and we were boarding the plane. And this adorable flight attendant goes, "Oh my God, girl, I see you. I see you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "You got yourself a zaddy." And I was like, and I was like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And she was like dying on the floor laughing. And my husband is just like, "What is that about?" And I was like, so this book, it's fantastic, right? And so I started telling him a little bit about it. And the part that I was in is like towards the end of the book where it's like getting hot and heavy between those two. And I like kept pointing out like excerpts in the book and I was like, and then he does this, and then he does this. And he was like, "Oh my God, are you reading porn on the airplane?" And I was like, "That's what she was talking about, a zaddy."
That's
So
amazing. I love
yeah,
that she called you out on it. That's
yeah, I loved
amazing.
it. I loved
Oh,
every second of it.
oh,
And then every time she walked by, she was like, "You done yet? You done yet?" It was great.
That's so cute. See, books bringing the people together.
They do. They do. I loved it. I absolutely loved that encounter.
It's such a great bonding experience, as we know. We're bonded.
We should have a bonded with
Whoa,
dragons.
whoa, whoa. Yes.
Oh, all right. So if you've been listening to us since season one, I believe, when we did The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had a little bit of a disagreement on
Oh,
name
jeez.
pronunciations. Let's just get this out in the open right now. How
It's
do you
loose.
say thing? It's loose and confirmed by V.E. Schwab. I'm
She
just
doesn't
throwing that out.
know. She's crazy.
She
I'll tell
doesn't know. It's just her books. Okay,
Fine.
whatever.
So some of these words I definitely pronounce right, like Andarna,
And Darna, yeah, I think we
Violet,
agree on that. Violet, I definitely.
Zayden,
Zaddy.
Zaddy,
Zaddy
Zaddy
is what
Zayd,
she referred to us.
Dane.
Dane?
There are others.
Jack.
Jack, yeah,
You
Rhiannon.
slayed that one.
Yeah,
Janet.
thank you.
Yeah.
I think I say Tarn multiple ways. I do maybe Tarn or Tarn. I don't know.
I say
I
Taryn.
I honestly have a harder time with the name of the war college.
Beskayeth?
I think Basgiath.
Beskayeth?
Yeah, my brain it does that like it just mumbles. It's like Basgiath.
I believe that that is the correct pronunciation. I apologize if it's not because this is
You did send me a TikTok
Gallic.
on how to say things.
Yes, it's Gallic, not Gaelic. There's two different languages that are spelled the same but pronounced differently, and the pronunciations that she uses apparently are Gallic. So Basgiath is how I understand that to be. I will never understand, or not understand, but I will never say, and I call him Taryn, but that's incorrect. I will never understand his wife's name, his lady's name, whatever you want to call her.
I call her Scale because if you don't have the S, it's Gale, and then if you add the S, Scale, and then Scale is a great dragon name because dragons have scales.
I do
That's what
like
I
that.
thought the whole point was with her name.
I
I
don't
thought it was
think
like
so.
her name is Scale, but it's not Scale, it's
Wink,
Scale.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I was like,
You get what I'm
oh,
laying down for
like
you?
with the
You're gonna
most
put 'em in.
obvious dragon related name ever, that's not.
My brain does what your brain does with the War College name.
Yeah, where it just
Goes,
like kind of mumbles it.
yeah, it just,
Meh. Yeah, some do not compute.
they do not. They do not.
I am very pro rereads, as you know.
Yes.
I do really enjoy mixing up my method of reading, so we'll see. I think next time I might do audiobook and maybe my brain will stop going bleep bleep bleep.
I think that that's a valid point there because they should be able to say it correctly. Yeah.
You would think, but that video you sent me did even mention how some of the translations weren't coming through with probably what Rebecca Yaros was intending
Yeah.
because she was saying how easy it is to like mess the language up. I think was it Taryn's full name?
Yeah. Tarnina.
Yeah, or yeah.
I think I just made that up, but that was my
That
my
was
best
beautiful.
effort. Tarnina.
So if she didn't get everything right, how can we pronounce it right? It's just what we feel in our hearts sometimes, you
And
know?
yeah, I get that this is based off of an existing language, but it's also a made-up fantasy world.
Right, right.
So at the same time, like maybe take this with a grain of salt and just take it at face value and what it's worth, you know? Because I know that
Absolutely.
there are some people who are upset about it.
Well, that's fine.
Not
If
everybody is going to have glowing five-star reviews.
what? Well, maybe if you're not happy with this book that is literally opening Barnes and Nobles at midnight, you could just go write your own book with and pronounce stuff however you want there.
That is a great point. And
So,
you're not going to make everybody happy. You're really not.
right,
There's
right.
going to be a couple
You're
of
not
people.
ice cream, which
Cream doesn't make
upsets
me
some
happy.
tummies. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
That was a bad day.
You're not wine?
Not wine.
Oh man. So, okay. Back to like the actual book plot instead of just gushing and I don't know. I don't know. So once they go to the Basgaga, the War College.
The War College. We can agree on that.
So to even freaking start at this writer school where you're gonna get a dragon and magical powers, you need to cross the parapet. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I'm intimidated by all words now.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to intimidate you with that. Parapet. Yeah. I am gonna admit something that's a little bit embarrassing. I had to Google that one.
Mm.
I didn't know what that word was. Are you familiar with it?
I didn't have to look it up,
Okay.
but like I knew what was being mentioned. It didn't. sound like a common word, but
Because so here's why I had to look it up because in my mind I was envisioning more of like a mountain's cliff's edge with drop offs on both sides.
mm,
And just like this rock formation that just has these violent drops on either side.
like
I
almost
was
natural.
Yeah, more natural than
Okay.
man-made. And so
Okay.
that's why when I Googled it, I was like, oh, that's not what I was picturing at all. There's that.
Yeah, I pictured it. I don't even know how I fully pictured it because it's not necessarily like attached to the rest of the area, but it kind of is. Like I pictured it very castle-y-ish and
Mm.
like a big wall-less high bridge. So to even get into this college, you have to climb up this crazy high thing, walk this very narrow bridge basically from one end to the other that's super high, no matter the weather. Like they're not gonna be like, oh, it's stormy, so get down. And you basically just have to cross it to even be a freshman
I mean, that's a
first year. So, and I mean, when you say like just walk across it, it doesn't sound that hard, but every time people fall
hmm
and die every year and don't make it. So it's definitely no easy thing. It was stormy the day that Violet did it.
yeah.
So, we actually met quite a bit of key players for Violet's parapet crossing.
hmm
So I guess even going back further, we mentioned how her dad was a scribe. Her mom was a high-ranking military commander in the, I don't know if she was a commander, but
It
in
was
the
something.
yeah, something high up for the writers. And then her brother and sister were also writers. Her sister, we met at the parapet, and she was there giving her tips and advice and dragon scale armor. And then her brother was actually killed. So we have that.
Mm.
And then, so we meet her sister there. She's getting her ready. Her sister's kind of surprised that she's even going to try to become a writer because she thought she was going to be a scribe.
hmm
So her sister gives her two shoes, and then she gets in line to go up and meets this chick, Rhiannon, who is ill prepared and has no one to tell her traction helps slippery things. And so she gives her one of her shoes.
Well, because
We
she was
also,
the first writer in her family, I believe.
yeah, yeah. And we also meet Jack, who's a jackass,
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he's just rude from the get-go. We meet Dane, who's a childhood friend
Mm.
of Violet's because his dad was also pretty high ranking, right? And
Yes.
so
Yes,
their
because he
parents
was,
were always working together.
yeah, he was right
And
up there
so,
with Violet's mom.
and then of course we meet Zayden,
Mm.
who Kitty spoiled it. He's a zaddy.
He is a zaddy.
But we don't like Zayden at first.
He's
We
kind of
find out that there's lots of bad blood between Violet's family and Zayden's family.
I mean, for good reason.
Yeah. Would you care to elaborate?
Basically, there was some kind of conflict, and which I don't think we really know much about, like
Some
why it
kind of
all started.
Well, because they lived on like the outskirts of the country, the boundaries, and Zayden's dad was raising a rebellion. So
Yeah.
Zayden's mom went to go squash that. And this is revealed in bits and pieces. We still don't know everything. And it's revealed slowly throughout the story. But I think what we kind of gather in the beginning, or one of the earliest things we know, is that like Zayden's dad was
Yeah.
in this rebellion, and Violet's mom went to squash that, and she basically made all the kids watch her
Yeah.
kill all the parents
Which
so
is
that
so
they would
fucked up.
know. That is so fucked up. Yeah. And
I
so,
can't
and
even imagine what those kids
is
were
it,
thinking, the parents too.
when is it revealed what happened to her brother?
The very last sentence
The very last sentence. You're so funny.
about her
Besides, no,
brother.
how did he get killed? Because she believes he's killed at this point.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. Hey, there's lots of spoilers in this episode. We
We'll tell
probably
you
do that
when
at the
we get
beginning.
to real ones, hopefully. But
Yeah.
anyways, so I'm gonna confess to you guys, it's been months since I read this, months and months and months. So I looked up a Cliff's Notes, and I sent you the link to the Cliff's Notes,
Yeah.
but it says that Zayden's dad killed her brother,
Yes.
Violet's brother. So
Yes.
is that revealed right away?
It's not revealed right away from what I recall. It's revealed pretty early on though.
Okay, so lots of bad blood between these families.
Yeah. Bad blood.
Oh,
Hey, we got X amount of minutes into this because God knows what it's going to be when we actually edit it. X amount of minutes into this, and that's the first Taylor Swift reference. Are
in
you
your
okay?
head.
Oh, okay, fair. Okay, anyway, moving on.
I've been thinking about her this whole time. You know who else is a Swiftie?
Rebecca
Rebecca
Yarros.
Yarros.
She was at one of the shows. I don't know which one she was at.
Probably ours. Who knows?
I like to think she was.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. That's
Hmm.
precious.
Telling you,
So,
Rebecca, we could be besties.
another spoiler alert is that Violet crosses the parapet successfully. Successfully. So,
She does.
yep.
Okay.
So, I don't, this freaking war college absolutely blows my mind.
Because of how nonchalant they are with death?
Yeah. So, like, one of the rules is you can literally just kill whoever. Like, everyone's fair game to die, like, because you have to prove each other. So, if they can't fight you off, they deserve to die. You just can't kill people in your quadrant
Because
or
hashtag teamwork,
quad.
team
And
building.
I am like, obviously, like, with those odds, your team is not going to last forever. So, they'll have to rearrange. And like, the whole time I could not get this. I'm like, you're going to have to fight alongside these people that you tried to kill. Like, I know you want competition, but do we need it to the death?
It seemed a little counterproductive,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I was not a fan of that either. I thought that it did not add much to the story. I mean, it did, obviously, because it added conflict, but it didn't add morale or anything like that. But I mean, I guess that's not what she was going for. So who knows?
Yeah, and it does get talked about and acknowledged. I think more so in Iron Flame.
Yeah.
I'll just talk about it now because it fits whatever. Sorry, guys. But they do like have some awareness of it where some people are like, why is it like this? This is so bad and counterproductive, and I'm tired of seeing dying. And Violet goes, seeing death is so hard that it's better to do that for the first time in training than out in the world, which is,
I
I still
mean,
don't think accurate. I don't know. Adrenaline gets you through a lot, even if
there are also 18, 19-year-old people that are going through this, and it's like, it seems excessive. I don't know.
it is, but it is clearly working for them to a degree. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. But so, and even besides that, you can kill other people, whatever, fair game. You can challenge anyone to combat at any time. You can, oh, there's like all sorts of like trainings. Like the one other big one is like called the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And that is like cliffside climbing, acrobatic death traps that you have to get across. And people die during that too.
But yet they
And
still have these things and they still have to continue to prove themselves essentially.
right, right.
I don't know. It's like very extreme Harry Potter.
Wanda! Oh, bye, Wanda.
She said, "Adios, muchachos."
Amazing. Well, I know that we have revealed to people that this war college is not all hand-to-hand combat and wrestling on the ground and dying and living the gauntlet. There's
Yeah.
also dragons.
There's a lot of dragons actually. Like or 100, right? Something like that.
What number did you just say?
Shut up.
Okay. So
100. 100. 100? I don't even know how I say it. I say
100.
it stupid. I get it.
In your very first year, you get the opportunity to bond with the dragon. What is the first thing called where they meet the available dragons and they like just walk in front of them and hope they don't get burnt to a crisp? What's that called?
Fucked up.
The viewing? I don't know.
I thought it was called the threshing.
No, the threshing is when they go run amok
Oh,
randomly in open fields and find and bond with a dragon.
I don't know. It's just fucked up.
There's something, some pageantry type thing, where
Yeah.
all these freaking dragons who are willing to bond line up in a row, and all the little first years. My mind just went to Peeves when he's like, "Well, first years," or
Yeah.
whatever.
See? Because it's Harry Potter fanfic.
Yeah. And they just walk past and they're like, "Don't disrespect a dragon," or like look at him funny or be crazy because they just will burn you to alive if you offend them. So
And they do. They
they
literally do.
do.
I don't know.
So
That's, I don't know. There's the fact that they have a death scroll or roll, one of the two, every single morning is a little concerning.
how do they have that many people? I don't know.
No,
I don't
because
know.
everybody wants to be the hero. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to be offensive. It's a good thing. We need heroes.
So the threshing that Katie's talking about, from what I understand, that's just like open field day where they frolic through fields and mountains and forests and you stumble across a dragon or a dragon stumbles across you. You hope you don't offend it. You
Yeah.
also might try to kill each other out there. Again,
Yeah, that was the other thing too. Like that's how Taryn or Tarnin, whatever you want to call him, that's how he bonded with Violet was by basically her standing up for Andarna.
yeah, yeah.
Zayden just standing by watching after making it. We'll get there. I jumped ahead. My apologies.
That's okay.
Got excited. We just find out more things in Iron Flame.
That's when things get a little crazy for our girl Violence, Violet, whatever
Island.
you want to call her.
I do like that nickname.
I do too. It's cute. You can call me that. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay, Violence.
kidding. It would make zero sense, but here we are.
Kimmy, Violence.
Uh,
They go hand in hand.
I'm an Enneagram 8. I have never resorted to violence with anybody. I will confront people in public and go to words.
Verbally spar.
I may have put some line cutters in their place at Costco on what was that, Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve.
Anyways, we don't need to get into that, but just know I will stand up for what is right at any moment. Okay? Have we talked about Jack? Not really. We said that he's a jerk,
Oh,
which he is the whole time. He frequently like tries to attack Violet in her sleep to
yep,
kill her.
yep.
Like he's just after her, doesn't like her. He's a jerk. He's always trying to be against her. And so when they're out at the threshing, he tries again to attack her and
Yeah.
they're in a fight, right?
Because well, no, yes, the threshing. Now I can't remember if he was fighting her in the threshing. He was definitely fighting
It
her
was
in
like
the.
him and some friends, I
No,
thought.
that was when they were dragon picking.
The threshing is dragon
You
picking.
told me it wasn't.
No, I was talking about the pageant. You were saying that the little pageant
Oh,
walk was the threshing. That's not the threshing.
okay, I'm on the same page now.
Okay. That's a lot to remember. It is
It
like,
is a lot to
how
remember.
many pages is the first one?
Uh, it's big.
Mm, girthy.
That was intentional product placement back there.
You are so precious.
I try. It's like
So,
800 some odd pages.
yeah. So just know shit goes down
Shit goes
during
down.
the threshing.
Yeah.
Long story short, Violet bonds with not only Taryn,
Yep.
who is like one of the oldest, biggest dragons, and then she also bonds with Andarna, who is teeny tiny and golden and
Beautiful. I imagine her to be beautiful and adorable and all the wonderful things,
yeah.
except in Iron Flame. We'll get there.
So that also never happens that people get two dragons. Like, not
Right.
everyone even gets one. And so the people who do not die but don't get a dragon, they get to become first years again.
And they're pissed.
Yeah.
They're real pissed. And then then there's the rule that they can try and kill anybody who's bonded with the dragon.
So much.
What?
Why?
It's just more killing. It's just more excuses to kill. Honestly, if we're really getting down to it.
Bonding with a dragon is awesome. There are some crazy things that happen. One, bonding means you can speak with your mind powers to your dragon. And so they're like in your head, you're in their head. Like they are like another thought
Well,
speaking to you.
and Violet, we haven't even really touched on the fact that Tiernan and Scale, we'll call her Scale because that I can't just say mumbo jumbo, that's in my brain. Him and his lady are bonded, and Zayden is bonded to Scale.
Yes.
And
So Violet basically, like if you haven't read this book and we're convincing you and you're gonna get spoilers, whatever. Violet bonds with a male dragon who has a little wifey dragon, and she's bonded to Xaden, Violet's enemy. I don't think are they still enemies? I don't know.
not really.
They're
That's a very strong word for what they are. They just dislike each other. Like they're not going to go have coffee. All four of them, both the dragons and both the humans, are able to telepathically talk together. And I saw the most amazing TikTok today, and I wish I remembered their handle so that I could give them credit. But it was basically like this back and forth between role playing and just the caption was what people see when Xaden and Violet are arguing. And it's just basically like silence, silence, silence. And
That's
it's just they're
amazing.
going back and forth, and it is pretty funny.
That's amazing.
Because could you
Um,
imagine just like being at a dinner party or whatever, and there's this couple there, and they're just like staring at each other and just like giving each other looks like you fucked up, and they're just having a
yeah, I feel
fight.
like that when you guys come over.
Oh, perfect. And they're just having a fight telepathically. It's great.
That's the thing. I got the feeling though, unless Violet was just very self-absorbed, like this isn't common. Or it's just that
Which
dragons
part's not
aren't bond
common?
like it's not like there's like all these foursomes running around and
No,
like other bond dragons aren't usually bonded like that and so it
they're the
seemed
only
pretty
ones
rare.
that we see in this story or in Iron Flame for that
Yeah.
matter.
So it's not and I don't know why it wouldn't be common.
I don't know, maybe dragons, I mean, you don't really even hear about other dragons being paired up with a mate.
But they're bigger and that is associated with age in this instance
Yeah.
and power, so I don't know if that's why.
I have a weird theory that Andarna is related to the both of them somehow. But I know that they said that they sort of took her in, but I just have a feeling that it's going to come out later down the road that she's related to them somehow.
Oh, well, Iron Flame squashed that for me. I did think that for a long time, but I have questions about dragon genetics, but that is a book two discussion. Yeah. Oh, and so, like, yes, you're in each other's minds now, but the humans have to work hard to develop the power to like shut that off and like turn it on and off at will. And I think because
Right.
it's not only thoughts, because they're usually pretty fine with that, but it's also emotions.
Right.
And it's also when the dragons are going at it, you feel some feeling.
When the
That
dragons are fornicating, having coitus,
is it fornicating if it's your life mate?
when they're
Fornication
fucking,
is
when
sex
they're
outside
fucking,
the bonds of marriage.
when they're
Trust me,
doing
I know.
adult dragon things. Should we go there? Uh, Also, this is a fine enough time to share my term for this book. A lot of people refer to it as
Romantasy.
romantasy. Yeah, no, it's phantasmut. It is phantasmut. Use the hashtag. Please tag me. It is
You do
phantasmut.
love Phantom Smut.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a Court of Thorn and Roses. Like, there's been some good memes about that series as well lately. Very funny. I digress. I've been digressing a lot. Thanks, wine.
Okay. So, yeah. The other cool thing that happens when you bond with a dragon is at some random point in time that varies from person to person, you get some weird magical power.
Oh, yeah, Signet.
Yeah, yeah.
You said it's Signet?
So, Signet.
Okay.
Signet.
Signet. It's like a beignet.
But yeah, it can be anything. Sometimes people have top secret ones. There's a
Dane.
memory stealer. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck. Mm. So mad.
Uh, Xaden has like shadow control.
I just want to say
Violet's
this real quick.
what?
Dane, we haven't really touched on him.
Mm.
He is the Dane of my existence. I'm waiting to use that. You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You're welcome.
We can touch on Zane, not literally. Ooh. So Zane and Dane and Violet
Sorry.
grew up together, and then she thought they'd be all buddy buddy, and he was all weirdly protective of her, but like she instantly got the ick because he was treating her like she was fragile, and she's like, "No, I'm here surviving. Like, don't think
I
I should
crossed the
just."
parapet when
Yeah.
others didn't.
And then he just got weird and controlling because of that, but she got the ick pretty quick.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it, girl.
And so feelings for Xaden do grow throughout this book, and
Yeah.
it's kind of plays off of each other. Like the feelings for Dane go down
Yeah.
because he doesn't respect her or acts like he thinks she should be there. He wants her away and out of all danger and doesn't
Wait,
think she can fend
wait.
for herself.
Hold on. Violet stood up against a male who was treating her like a fragile flower?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I only say that because so many times in fantasy books or phantasmut books, that doesn't happen. They want to be the damsel in distress. The female main character wants to be the damsel in distress. They want to be that person that is basically overrun with having to do as they say and be as fragile as their male counterpart is making them out to be. And anytime that they try to show any sort of strength, it's frowned upon. I'm looking at you, Akatar.
Agatar's here.
Akatar's here. Yeah, but that's all I'll say on that. So
That's
a
interesting.
strong female main character lead with a backbone was refreshing.
That is refreshing. I haven't read Agatar yet, but I hope to this year. We'll get to that when we get to that. So Xaden, though, on the other hand, they always have this tension, and like we know why. We already talked about their family backgrounds, but he also I think I said in the very beginning how Violet had like some kind of physical limitations. She almost got injured more and was more prone to injuries. It never was fully spelled out like what she has, but she's like smaller, literally fragile boned. Stuff is a lot harder for her. So you could kind of see logically like why Dane felt that way. You can definitely see her side for standing up for herself and for being like, I'm already proved myself enough, get off my case. But instead of saying like, you're obviously weaker like Dane did. Xaden was like, you know what? You have these vulnerabilities. Let me help you. Like, let's train. And he did things like that. and didn't and like just helped her improve. And he's like, yeah, you deserve to be there, but like let's get you up there. Violet is a scrappy little thing.
Yeah.
They often had to, what's it called? Duel. I don't know. I'm not a speaker of these words.
Yeah,
They
I
had to
think it's the duel. Yeah.
they had to like have these physical hand-to-hand combat challenges with people. Violet knew that she was often the lesser opponent going in these. She would freaking poison people. I loved that. She would like make them weaker in advance and like go through
You gotta
these
do
like,
what you gotta do.
yeah, I loved that. Like there were no rules, really.
When your life is on the line, you're gonna do
Yeah.
what you need to do to survive.
Yeah. And if you know that like physically you probably can't overtake a ton of people or like big burly men, you do what you gotta do. And I loved that.
Yeah.
So, and she wasn't like poisoning to kill. Like she wasn't like just
Right.
ruining the fight before it was over. She was like just slowing him down, making him a little weaker or feeling worse.
Incapacitating them
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
All this happens. I think we're pretty much caught up on everything except like everything going down in the end. It got action packed at the end.
It did. It did. It was
So
a lot.
they got dragons. It was supposed to be a drill or like a game
Right.
for the different squad. The other thing, so
All the different
Rebecca,
wings.
yes, Rebecca Yarros is a military wife.
Yes.
And so I think she did a really good job explaining, not that it like sunk in and I remember it now, but she did do a good job explaining like how it's all broken down. Like the fourth wing is like the squad slash team, whatever you want to layman's term call it,
Sure.
that Violet is on.
Yeah.
And then it talks about like the ranking of like where Zayden is and where Dane is. And I think Zayden's above Dane, who Violet reports to, like it's their chain of command, if you will. And so she explained that well. And so then towards the end, we get in these like war games. And this is where Dane really proves himself to be a loser. His power is where he could, like, if he touches you physically, he can see your memories. It's a confidential one. Like, they don't want people knowing that he does that.
Yeah.
And
Obviously for, war
it's
crimes.
also very, very invasive.
Yeah.
And so when you do that without consent and like look into someone's past and memories and brain,
So I had a really, I don't want to say like a difficult time with that, but it was just like really hard because like oftentimes I put myself in character situations like, how do I feel that I would handle that particular situation? And that being said, I just think that I could honestly never trust a person that did that to me again. She rightfully so, and I'm jumping ahead again in Iron Flame, she does not want him anywhere near her. Rightfully so. Like he violated their trust. He violated their entire friendship. He violated so many different things between those two. They had a whole life, childhood together, and he just basically threw that away for no good reason and almost got her killed.
right? Because of that, like he gives information to his dad. Is that who it is? And basically their games, they get sent somewhere. They like stuff changes last minute based on what they saw, what Dane saw and reported. And they get there and the town is deserted. And it is very much war with no games
Nope.
at the end, just real life. And then we learn some things about the whole entirety of, is it a country?
I guess for lack of better words, yeah,
A
sure.
kingdom? I don't know.
Dem country, same. I think they're interchangeable.
Yeah, I don't even know if we fully explained it. Like I was never like there's stuff I had questions on, but I was never confused in the book.
Yeah.
But basically, like their kingdom or country, it has like these points of magic that create a protection boundary, and they make it seem like they just want people who aren't them to have power access to their magical boundaries, but they say that's it. And they do have, well, Violet remembers hearing mythical tales about wyvern and venom. And at one point, she's looking this up and she can't find them listed anywhere. And she's like, my dad gave me books that talked about that. And he was a scribe. Like, what do you mean? There's no evidence of this. The library, what was it called?
Archives.
Archives, thank you. They have every book ever. Like, what do you mean that this isn't written there at all?
Yeah.
This is when we're getting real spoiler alert. We probably should have told you about 5 minutes ago, but
Spoiler alert.
so they go out to where they're supposed to be going for games, and it's not a game, and it's deserted. And then they find out that there are venom and wyvern and that it's real. And Oh, that's who their enemies were the Griffin Riders. And so then they run into them and they're like, no, there's actually scarier shit. And
There's just so much.
there's so much. I love it. Okay, I thought wyvern was a made-up word.
I did too
And
until
then it was in the next book I read. Well, not the next book I read, but
a book.
it was in Divine Rival.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of reading that. Not really.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, my
When
husband explained them to me
Oh, okay. So
because
I'm glad I'm not
I
the only
thought
one who thought it was made up,
I
bitch.
thought it was made up as well. And so like I was telling him about Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and everything like that. And I was like, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then he's like, oh yeah, 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 I'm familiar with all
Are they
that.
like zombie dragons?
They're like just different dragons. I don't know.
Different dragons.
Yeah, like they're just
Wyvern versus dragon. I'm looking this up.
okay, there you go.
Oh, the key difference between a wyvern versus a dragon is a wyvern has 2 legs,
Oh,
where a
that's right.
dragon has 4.
That's right.
I will say, her spelling of Griffin threw me off a little bit.
Why? I don't remember it being
It's
weird.
Gryphon, which I just want to call it like Gryphon at first, but then I was like, no.
iPhone?
Is it Griffon? It's Griffin. Like
Griffon?
even the way she describes it is like normal, typical Griffin.
Right.
Like whatever.
Maybe that's Gallic as well. I don't know.
Maybe. It
I don't know. I've
it
never seen
my
it like that
brain
before.
didn't my brain didn't like automatically want to say Griffin, even though
That's
it is.
that's funny because like I didn't even pick up on that whatsoever.
How did you say it?
Griffin?
Oh,
But I just didn't think of it as weird.
maybe
But I
it's
mean,
me.
like, no, I don't think it is because now that you say that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that is weird.
So yeah, so then there's a battle. We didn't even talk about everyone. For all we talk about how Xaden just made Violet stronger and better, he did also attach someone to her hip to follow her and be her protector. And Violet actually liked this guy. She didn't like why he was there, but she liked him. His name was Liam.
I loved Liam. I
We
said
all loved
loved.
Liam. And yeah. So
That broke my heart.
yeah, so basically they get just completely blindsided, caught off guard to find out that these mythical creatures they were told were fake. Their whole lives were real.
Right. Her mom told her that they were fake.
Yep.
The high-ranking official that she was told her that these creatures didn't exist, and we come to find out that Violet's mom knew that they existed this entire time and was covering it up. And
Right. And they
that's
just act like Griffin riders are the worst
right.
and just wanting to mooch off of them, basically. It is just crazy what they end up getting into and how it's all real. And sadly, Liam dies in that battle. Violet,
That was gut-wrenching,
and
that scene.
that's where stuff gets really crazy because lots of things happen. I guess we haven't even talked about Violet's signet,
No,
which is lightning power.
especially when she's climaxing.
It's
Whoops.
electric.
Woogie,
And
woogie,
if I
woogie.
get burned, at least we were electrified. I'm still white in the bathtub. Sorry. Anyways, that's important. I'm sorry we haven't talked about it, but that's important for what happens in this whole scene. Taylor Swift forever. So that's Violet's power, whatever. She has no control over it. It's whatever. So then they're getting annihilated basically, and things are not looking good. Liam dies.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And the dragons also have powers. And so this, like, things are going terrible for them until Andarna shows up with her power.
Yeah, girl.
That power at the time is to stop time. And so basically they are losing badly until Andarna uses all of her strength to stop time, which then lets Violet use her lightning power to turn the tables and
Right.
the tides. But then
There's consequences from that, unfortunately.
there are, which we don't really, the book ends on a hello cliffhanger
Oh my God.
because that happened. They suddenly win thanks to Andarna
Right.
and Violet. Violet does get hurt, and
Yep.
so they don't have time to take her back to the War College. So they take her somewhere else.
You have not figured out that this episode is extremely full of spoilers. This is the spoiler of all spoilers. And we find out that Violet's brother, Brennan, who we believe is Zayden's brother,
Dad.
dad,
Aiden's
that
dad.
Zayden's father had killed, has been alive and well this entire time. And oh my God, the jaw-dropping catatonic trance that I was in just staring at the wall after I read that was just remarkable. I was like, what did I just read? And then I went back and I read it again and I was like, no, no, no.
No. What?
Dude alive? Dude is alive. And the book ends. That is literally
That's all
the
she wrote
last sentence. The
for that
last
book.
sentence where
That was
she's like,
mind blowing.
what the hell am I looking at? I'm looking at my dead brother. Okay, cool. Yeah,
And scene.
right.
Okay.
To all of the people who read the arc of this book, to all of the people who read this on release day, who read this when it first came out, I don't even know when its initial release date was. You are all the true unsung heroes because I literally had Iron Flame in my hand when I finished that book, and it was not fast enough.
I had to wait. When did Iron Flame come out?
In November?
Okay, so I did have to wait a few months.
Yeah.
It was rough, but I didn't know what to do with myself. I reread Harry Potter,
Yeah, you did.
honestly, because I
Yeah.
was like, I can't read anything that will entrance me this much, that will make up for that. Like, what am I supposed to do? I had no
Did you
idea.
see a lot of similarities going back to Harry Potter?
No,
No? Okay. Maybe it's just a vibe I got then.
I probably. I mean, just because there's going to school, there's also
With the
dragons.
magical, yeah,
Yeah,
magical stuff, and maybe that's just what it was, but there's definitely none
it's
of it.
also completely different vibes because of the fanta smut
Yeah,
aspect.
it is definitely after dark Harry Potter if that's the case.
And not just wandering the halls to try to look in a mirror.
No, no, no mischief. I mean, there was mischief managed, but it's a different kind.
Yeah. How many stars did this get for you?
A whole five.
I love that. I
You?
got yeah, I gave it 5 stars too, and I actually have some 5-star reviews to read to you.
All right, let's do it.
So we're not alone. Bryce Rocks on Goodreads says, another book whose world I would not survive in. Even the sex is borderline dangerous. I got a paper cut reading this book and almost cried. Okay.
Okay.
Cassie on Goodreads said, what am I supposed to do now?
Same girl.
Candy said, the hype is justified. Wow. Wow. I held off reading Fourth Wing until I finished writing and releasing Meet Your Match because I wanted to just be able to binge and completely immerse myself. I had no idea how obsessed I would be. It's been a
Same
few
girl.
days since I finished, and I'm still dreaming about these characters. They take up space in my mind rent-free and likely will forever.
Same girl. Same.
This one that I love, Melanie,
Same
Melanie's
girl.
review. She says, infinite fucking stars out of 5. Please take me back in time. I would do anything, and I mean anything, to relive my time reading this book. But unfortunately, I can't. I wish I could sell my soul so I could just experience that euphoric feeling I had while reading this book. Just leave me alone in my sorrows because I can't experience that again. Nothing will compare. Maybe the second book, though. And I mean nothing. I could literally write a whole detailed review that would be pages and pages long, but fortunately for you guys, I won't. I mean, it's popular, it's hyped, and I think with good reason and well deserved. I would read this anyways and love it. I like that, like, it's so mainstream
I do
because a
too.
lot of time these books aren't, and I feel like they're still good.
Oh, absolutely.
So now I'm like, welcome to my world, you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, I mean, on the flip side, though, we do have some one-star reviews.
What? That's possible?
Honestly, Sophie says Zayden wears skinny jeans.
Burn.
I don't know
Wow,
why
she
that's
did.
such a terrible dig,
Well,
but it
she
was
probably
like,
didn't bond with a dragon, and she's mad about it.
yeah, she can take it up with somebody who did bond with it. Daisy says, "Who had a gun to the head of everyone who rated this 5 stars?" It was me. I had a gun. It was me.
Oh my gosh.
I can't really pronounce this person's username on Goodreads. It's Stell444, but it looks really different. So I don't know if that's supposed to be how it's said. Zayden could spit on me and I would ask him to do it again. I don't know why that's a 1 star review.
I
I
don't
was
either.
very confused, but she marked it as 1 star, but she wants Zayden to spit on her. Hannah says, this shitty book is as useful as toilet paper and serves the same purpose.
What is wrong with people?
I don't know.
That's funny. So,
You got both sides of the spectrum there, but I mean, to each their own. This obviously, we've talked about it before. Not every book is going to be for every person, for every reader. That's what's so magical about books. So,
yes, but I think that's what I love about it about Fourth Ring in particular, because a lot of people do write off entire genres,
yeah.
which is silly.
I used to.
I
I'm
used to with
reformed.
horror. I'm reformed,
I'm reformed with romance.
but I like something that gets a lot of people out of their zone and is like, I don't usually like fantasy, but I like this. I don't usually like whatever, but I like this. Like I love that. I think that's
Right.
beautiful.
I think it's great. And you can learn something about yourself and be like, okay, well, I enjoyed this book. So what else is out there for me that I might enjoy that's in this kind of genre?
You got some Rex? That was my T-Rex arms.
No.
Oh,
Do
not
you,
Akatar?
I've been thinking about Akatar lately.
Oh.
And after reading Fourth Wing, and just, I feel that Fourth Wing is superior to Akatar. Now, I have not read Crescent City. Crescent City? Yes, I have not read Crescent City. I've read Thorn of Glass.
A
Thorn?
sword of glass?
Thorn.
Not a thorn of glass. That's
Oh, it is
weird.
a Thorn of Glass.
A thorn of glass?
Thorn of Glass. Hold on, hold on.
Are you talking about the glass sword? It's the one with the chick, right? Oh, she can't hear me anymore. So let me tell you, Katie's beautiful and hilarious. Throne.
It is Throne of Glass. I'm done.
I thought you were saying thorn.
No, I was.
And I oh
Because that's when I was glancing it behind me and I was like, yeah, that's the sword. Throne of
Yep,
Glass by
that
Sarah
says
J. Maas.
thorn if you're a little dyslexic.
Throne. Thorn. Now I can't stop saying it. I've like totally trained my brain in 5 seconds. Oh, fuck.
Man.
Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas is kind of I don't want to say similar to it's not similar, it just gives similar vibes as
Okay. See, and I'm reading or I've read like so many books that are similar-ish but also not. Like Divine Rivals, which I have not read its sequel. That's a duology.
which
And
I
that
didn't realize was young adult.
is it?
Well, it was in the young adult section at Barnes and Noble the other day.
That's weird. I would say like for that, it would be more like new
Huh?
adult, like what Fourth Wing is.
Oh, so
New
it's like
That's what I would say. But that is
smutty?
like what?
Smutty?
No. Is new adult smutty? I thought it was just
Oh, I know you said
not young adult.
it was like fourth wing. So
Oh. Well, if you're talking about like just age, which is a genre, like which is dumb because I don't think that should be a genre, but it is. It's a subgenre. But Fourth Wing is new adult because she's not young adult, but she's not like deep
yeah.
because they're 18, 19. And so I would say Divine Rivals is more like that.
Okay.
And they do mention Wyvern and stuff, but it reads and feels almost more historical.
Okay.
It gives very like London in the 40s
Yeah.
vibes, but it's definitely not. I don't even know what like it's not supposed to be even a time period. That like didn't give the same vibes of this at all, despite having Wyvern, if that makes sense. Just the way
Yeah.
it's written. And now I'm reading Together We Burn.
Not familiar.
Let me see who it's by, just in case our readers want to know real quick. But that one, again, called Together We Burn by Isabella, I'm sorry, Ibanez? Ibanez? I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. It's got like a huge Spanish flair to it,
Okay.
but like in like the main character and her mom like do flamenco dances and stuff, but it's very like Colosseum vibes, but instead of Colosseum, I don't
What did you mean?
bullfights,
Thorn of Glass?
Thorn of Glass, like bullfights and the
Oh.
matadors,
Oh, like Colosseum. But
Colosseum, yeah,
for-
Colosseum me,
okay. I got you. I'm
like that.
tracking. Okay.
With uh instead of bulls, it's dragons, and instead of like matadors, they literally call them dragon doors. And so it's got a cool like flair and vibe. And it's also got dragons, but it's nothing like these three dragon books that are literally nothing alike.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
these same kind of genres, but are completely not even remotely at all the same.
Yeah. Books are cool. People are hella creative. I love it.
Well, I think it's time that we wrap up on the fourth wing so that we can go start to talk about the Iron Flame. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I'm good with it because like you said, as soon as you read that sentence, you're just ready to go to the next. So let's get
Exactly.
to it in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, I'll see you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Wish I had a rhyme for dragon, but we'll end on that. Goodbye.
Raise your flagon, dragon.
Okay, bye.